Hi everyone, this is Arena from Heal and Learn, and I'm here again with Joe Greenland and Cindy. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We warmed up the whole atmosphere here, so we're really getting into it. The energy is flowing.
Thanks for having us again.
Thanks for coming up again. Joe is cleaning everything for us.
Yeah, and he's calling in the spirit. So just that the energy flows and it's just being guided from our higher selves, the universe, just allowing that flow to that. How I like to say it when I do my prayers in the morning is that I ask to be a clear channel for my highest truth. That way I trust that whatever comes out of my mouth it comes out for a reason, because sometimes we say things that are abrupt or complicated or passionate or surprisingly loving, and some people, they get shocked and they're like, why would you say that to me? And it comes out when you trust in your, that it's how it's supposed to be delivered, and sometimes it just needs to come out that way so people will connect with the energy that's behind the message, then they remember it, and then they can get the answer to their prayers. Perhaps might come through us in this video here for somebody in a year from now that might watch it. So
yeah, I just want to give some feedback for you and for everybody else from the clearing session that you did 2 weeks ago, because this was really amazing and it brought some amazing results for people that wrote me and messaged me the next day and the day after. And just one example that I'm going to give, which was really, I don't know, heart-melting example, was that one of the ladies that participated in the group clearing actually said that after battling in court for custody for her children for 5 years, she finally got a resolution after your clearing session. So thank you on her behalf as well. And such stories are really amazing to hear. And again, I'd like to invite everybody who needs some sort of help and feels stuck to come and join our group sessions that are usually on Wednesdays. I'll put a link below. Yeah. So Cindy, I actually have a question for you, because I usually ask Joe stuff, but I never actually asked you. So I know that you're the intuitive there, but how do you receive those intuitive messages? Well, what is intuition for you? Or how do you help people using your intuition?
It's been a process to trust myself, really, and I'm more of a feeler. I wouldn't say that I see, but even though I do see things sometimes, for example, we were just invited recently to a prison, a penitentiary, and to clear the guards that work there, to clear their energy. Oh, wow. And I was sitting beside the one guard. We were having food before we were to start, and I was like, oh, I'm feeling like I'm gonna cry. I feel like it's in my throat, and I just said it out loud. I didn't think about it too much. I didn't, I just said, I feel like I'm gonna cry. Well, it turns out that she really had a lot of emotion that needed to come out of her. So it's about trusting the feelings that you get, and that's where my intuitive side goes. And I ask, like I said in the beginning here, I ask to be a clear channel for that highest truth. And I trust that whatever comes out of my mouth is what needs to be said. And that building that trust has been a process, and it helps with asking for it. So it's kind of like me telling the universe or my higher self that I'm willing to access what it is my soul wants me to access, versus me coming in as with an agenda. That, because Joe, he sees, he feels, he hears, he's got all of those gifts, and that was his life journey to be that way. I'm me. So I can't be Joe. I don't want to try to be Joe. I just want to be me and get to know me. So I ask, and it's been a good 8 years of work, just asking my guides or the universe, or just trusting.
Yeah. So I heard that your meditations were also really good and people appreciate them a lot. Like
Yeah, with the meditation group that we have, it's been a journey. And the group of people that have been with us for, let's say, the last 3 years, they have also seen me grow. I'm not just there. It's a And it's so awesome that we can witness that for each other. And they hold space for me to allow me just to share whatever it is I feel like sharing. And somehow it just comes out. So they've given me a gift of holding that space for me. And I have discovered a lot more trust in my voice, that I have things to say that really do help people, and believing in myself. So the meditation group helped me just even facilitating it, let alone the people that were in the group. We had this one guy in the group, he would fall asleep all the time, and he kept coming back. So what was it, like a year and a half in, all of a sudden it's like the TV turned on, and all of a sudden he's got messages, and he was sharing messages with everybody, channeling. And was wide awake and present, and he wasn't sleeping anymore. So it's been really cool to watch how people grow through the meditation group that we have.
So what do you intuitively think we should be talking about tonight, or we should open up with? We opened up, but what should we continue with?
One thing was that in that meditation group that we had online, we were telling people, the more you ask, the more you receive. And everyone is, not everyone, but a lot of people are just living life as it's coming at them. And we gave a suggestion to everyone in that group, was to ask their guides for help. And we gave them insight on how to open it up. And so, this woman that had the end of the custody battle of 5 years, at some point she asked, from the 5 days or the couple days in between the meditation group and the finalizing of the custody, she asked them, okay, so it's amazing how fast things can happen if you ask. And it was a perfect example of that. Or you can just keep on living, moving forward in your life, waiting for something to change. It was a good example. And so the teachings that come through are just channeled really for mostly like who's in the group and what spirit, you could say, wants everyone to sort of learn.
Yeah. So Joe, you are watching a lot of YouTube people on different topics, including personal development. And you know that there are a lot of coaches preaching for things that happen only with the power of your mind. So that is, I think you have the feeling you need to talk, so I'll just let you.
Yeah, with the natives, even when you grow up as small, the elders and people you sit with, they use stories and they use different things, and they try to help you to realize that somewhere inside is asking and connecting and doing the work, because sometimes they will give you something, like the Cree elders I worked with in Alberta to do the sweats and all of this is they get you to be what they call as Muskapios. In being Muskapios is like serving everybody, is what Muskapios means. And in the Cree, they say Jesus was Muskapios, Buddha was Muskapios, because they tried to help everybody to learn something, to lift themselves up, to open themselves to see things bigger. And so working with the sweat lodges and learning how to load pipes and certain kinds of smudges and things, being around these ceremonies, like the Cree, in their belief is you have to earn the pipe. And to earn the pipe, you got to be Muskapios for 15 years, because there's lots and lots and lots of things to learn. So every time there's ceremony, every time there's something going on, you go with the elder and you participate, you do something. And every time there's something that comes in, they see an opportunity to teach you something more, setting up altars, smudging things, and holding space and energy. And there's stages, like you were saying, there's different stages. Like when we're children, we get to about 14, there's a stage where our bodies change, there's chemistry and things going on. The chemistry overpowers sometimes, and it sort of propels us into a life that we sort of don't feel we have control over. And it's a learning phase. It takes us out and it challenges us to go places and doing things. And then we get to about 20 and we start slowing down in the chemistry and we start thinking, well, are we going to get married? Are we going to have this? Are we going to have that? And then you have choices, like what are you going to bring into your life? What are you going to do? So it's the same thing in spiritual practices. There are stages and phases in our lives. We all have different segments of time where we have learning and growth. There was a lot of times where I saw patterns of 9. If something started, it sort of cycled itself for about 9 months or 9 years or whatever. But there's a pattern and there's something to learn and grow in. Once we have discovered those answers, new doors open, new things present themselves. As we're growing along, we need to also ask for teachers and things, because I found there was so many things to learn as I stepped out of the native way into looking at Gary Zukav and lots of other people. I wanted so much knowledge to devour, and it took up so much of my time reading, and it just took me in different directions. So I put one thing aside for a period of time trying to learn this, and then I go over here. And I sort of went all over, and I was going into astrology, I was doing I Ching, and I was even questioning Christianity because I wanted to know inside myself, oh, what is all of this? Somewhere in this, there's something that unites us all, no matter in what our language or belief. But there were stages that I went through, and every time I got to a certain stage, something was finished, something new would open up and present itself. But I think we all carry an energy inside ourselves, and it's like a seed, even from childhood. There's something we know and we love inside ourselves that nothing can ever take that from us. Nothing can discourage us. It's like there's a big waterfall there, and you just know somehow you're going to get to the top, and one day you'll look down. It's a long, hard journey to get up to the top. But when you get there and you find those answers and free yourself to experience it.
So what would you say would be a way that someone could use their mind, like for that manifestation, or like attracting that soul purpose or that new career? What would be a way to ask?
I know for me, when I search out these things, I always question inside myself, does this feel right? It's new, it's exciting, there's energies and people. And sometimes all it is just absorbing that energy, like reading a book. And then once you're finished it, you put it aside. And then sometimes you got to compile things. It's like doing scientific knowledge. You got to get all this different data and you got to put it all together. And then there's a root or an energy that's in it that you'll recognize that'll open you up more. And you'll absorb that energy. You will take it in and carry it with you. Throughout my life, I always said, one day I'm going to have a business, one day I'm going to have a business. And I said this over and over and over. And me and Cindy have been together for quite a few years, and we've been traveling. And 2 years ago, she came across a thing with the BC here that you can go to school and they will assist you to create a business. And she says, well, think about going to school. And I'm like, okay, I think I've said long enough that I'm one day going to have this business. So I went to school, and everything had to carry up to that point for this to open up and start coming in. I framed houses, I built houses, I worked in construction and many things, but I really love carving. I love the native spirituality. I love the meditation and the healings and that. And through this course and this, it helped me to see how to develop a business in, to do with taxes and government and all kinds of different things. So everything came in at the right time.
Mhm.
If we had been some other place, I don't think that would have opened up and we'd be where we are today. So they, like you say, there are stages, and it's being patient with yourself too, because sometimes we will get glimpses. We all have deja vu, we all see things, and sometimes we want to get to a point too fast, but we got to also realize that we got to stop along the side of the road every now and then and smell the roses and look at things and be curious just to see, because someday you're going to get to that point and everything that is rightfully yours, the universe is going to bless you with that. You're going to feel your life.
But how would you know that this is the right point? Because today, just another insert, I got a question from a friend of mine who asked me, do you know of some tool that can actually give me an answer, a yes or a no? I can ask a question, and I actually gave her such a tool. I'm just going to share it with you. Maybe it's useful to somebody else as well. It's basically you sit in a relaxed state of mind, like in a meditation. I'm sorry, there are dogs barking outside, so there's extra noise. But so you sit in meditation and you ask your question. And then if you feel the energy, it's actually asking your gut. If you feel the energy from your gut going forward and up, then it's a yes. And if it goes backwards and down, then it's a no.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can, so you know about this?
Yeah, it's your own inner language. We all have our own inner language that confirms. Usually the oversoul, when you ask the right thing, it will verify, it will give you an energy, it will make something really exciting. Some people with butterflies that tell them it's something really beautiful and it's right. Everybody has a different way of receiving, and you got to figure out your language. Because there's an energy that's inside you, and you knew how to read it and work with that as a child, and then somewhere you shut it off. Something blows you to it, and then you looked into the world and you, whoa, how do I do that? But it's actually going back inside and allowing that clarity to come through that. It really goes inside. Sometimes it's like playing. Sometimes we need to remember we're still children. It's not the age or the body. There's something very, very beautiful in the instance we carry inside us.
Just
Sorry,
saying,
I'll close a bit.
the dogs that are barking, the dogs were barking in our yard today too, and you know the bark. And so there was a bear in our yard today.
Yeah.
Is there a bear in your yard?
Another one, because you got the first one, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that's right. So yeah.
So bears keep coming to you.
Also asking for right kinds of people, because we're trying to learn how to step out of an old way of thinking.
Yeah.
And sometimes we need to attract different people to sit with that'll help us, because as we're trying to learn to develop, not only with business or life or spiritual practices or anything, sometimes sitting with somebody just in their energy helps us to absorb something, to assist us in changing a way our thinking is. Because it's like long ago with the VHS, when you would put it in the thing to watch the movie, you had this big giant machine, you had to load this big square thing in, and it would play. And this is the way that people started having these movies. Now you get this little DVD disc, and now that is even changing. So everything grows with time, and there's a new learning that's involved. And discovering and practicing something, sometimes we're too this way and we can't see there's some things on the side that sitting with somebody else, the way they see it or perceive it, will open our mind, go, whoa, maybe this is something I'll just try for a little while to see if that brings that change. Because there's energies all around us. There's many, many forms of energy, and they're all waiting. And the universe responds to everything. So when there's a curiosity or an excitement, or we're opening to bring in bigger things, it's like turning on a light bulb in a dark room. All of a sudden you see something, but the light clicked off, and you're like, whoa, whatever is that? Man, I want to get in there and I want to explore more. So how do I turn that light on and keep it on long enough to see what that exciting stuff was? So these phases are really important, and discovering that for ourselves is an amazing thing to share with other people also.
And that's a hint too, is how you feel about it. Because often too, the past and the old and the familiar, it is lacking that energy feeling. So, follow what excites you or what your curiosity is pulling you, because the past, the memories, it's already finished. You already learned that. When are you choosing to feel something different and follow that feeling? Call in something new and attract new experiences, new people, or new energies to connect with, to learn from.
Lots of people have fear though about the new. I recently watched a video on the zone of comfort, which is the intersection between the past and the new.
Yeah.
So
There's
lots of
that
people
in
are
between,
just
right?
scared to drop whatever they've experienced until now, or whatever kind of job they're in, or they're afraid to let go of this job, because although they might have an idea, but even though it's exciting, it's still not exciting enough to take them out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One of the things is our brain always looks at the old. It takes all the old as building blocks to build something new. And to change something, I always tell people, your brain can't jump out of your head, run way over there and look at you and go, oh, I see what's wrong, run and jump back in and change it. So you have to find a way to put something inside the brain that it can take all these different experiences like a puzzle and all of a sudden remold and put that puzzle back new, so you can actually look at this and then go, wow, okay, now I see. And then you build those little roads, those little paths, and then you just journey a little safely this way, that way. Like while me and Cindy were building our business, I was doing a lot of different things, and she was doing things to slowly build it to a point where we're sort of safe of going more and more into it and trusting that bigger things are going to open even though we don't see it. So one of the things I often do is I thank the universe already now for every beautiful thing that's going to be in my life in the future, because I can't see it. All I know is there's going to be more and more good things. Like I'm so grateful that I had the reading with Krasi, and she did this reading which opened the door and that connected us. So that was something I never in my life expected. But the universe has these things, and sometimes I say my prayers and I say thank you to all the beautiful things in the future that are already coming to me that I cannot see. That's going to bring me joy and happiness, and even that freedom to move forwards in a bigger way.
And you, Cindy, how did you trust your intuition? How were you brave enough to actually, stop doing whatever you were doing before and jump into this business together with Joe?
I haven't really fully jumped in. Let's be honest. I mean, of course, I'm human too, and I get the fear. But like in this example, when we opened the business shop, the shop space that we have, it was like, are we sure we want to do this and have this extra expense? And Joe was like, the energy feels right, and he was all excited, and I trust him, and I know him, and I'm surprised that he wants to open this shop. So we opened the shop a year ago, and we have always had the money to pay the rent. Oh, there was never a time that it was a concern. And I look at that as the example of when it's right and you're in that perfect flow, you are supported. You don't know how it's going to support you, but you are in that right flow. So I went part-time to casual. I still work my job out of a safety measure because I'm afraid that maybe I might need it, even though it's not true. I feel safe in it. And so I'm working through my process of feeling safe just doing this full time. So it's a process.
Because in her subconscious, she's got to tell herself that this business is going to support and pay for everything, but she's very afraid to step in and fully trust that.
Yeah.
And I just sit back patiently because I know there's somewhere along the way she's going to step in, because I get all kinds of visions all the time because I always ask the universe about the future, and I really trust that. And I believe you really have that ability that you can ask the universe and they will allow you to see things. And then I say, well, prove it to me that this is not my ego, my subconscious. And when it comes true, I'm like, okay, I knew that. So now I want you to show me something more. And it really builds that belief system inside people by using your dreams, by using meditation, by using many, many different techniques. And people really need to be able to say, can you help me see things in my future that different things are going to come in? And more this happens, the more you learn to really, really trust the universe and that inner language you carry inside yourself. We have stepped so far away from it. We're trying to go back to these ways all our ancestors knew. When you go back in time, every one of them did this. And this is something we got to open up and bring through, and even help the children on the planet to start using that and never letting it go, that the universe has no reason to deceive anybody. It's always willing to show and create harmony and help us to walk that path. Even sometimes it feels a little unknown. We're going to get to a point and go, wow, I was shown this, so I'm right on my path. And this is exactly the things that have been given to me. So it makes you really feel safe. And the more safer you feel and the more they share with you, the more that energy will generate out to other people, because whatever you carry, somebody will also end up carrying that, and that energy will build in a way that sustains and holds things.
Yeah, so I can do that. I can ask that very question. So if Fox Streamer can sustain us both, and we only need that one source of income, then prove it to me. And then also help me to trust that this is true. And I can ask that daily and I see what happens. I haven't done that.
So you can't do everything at the same time.
No.
You do it when the time is right, I guess.
Yes.
You feel like you need to ask the question.
Those stages come in, right? Like that's a really big thing, because I kept waiting for her to go, wow, I'm going to ask the universe if this business and everything's going to support us, and see what they show me.
Yeah.
Because they're going to show her something that she's going to believe and see come true, right?
Yeah.
And then inside her, she knows she can let go of this and step into this. So it's opening one door and closing another. And it's knowing inside yourself, this is a good thing. How far do you want to go with it is another thing. Because as we go along, everything evolves and changes. So there's something there that's like, wow, I'm so excited about, but over a few years' time, there might be something ready to develop and grow again. So do I want to step into the next one and let this one go? Because now it's evolved to a point where things are expanding. You need to make that change or it'll collapse on you.
Yes.
So this is something we've been learning right from when we started our business, that there are all these little things, but somewhere there's going to be a root, and that's going to sort of branch out, and different things are going to land where it's just going to support us from where we first started to now. Things is slowly have adjusted, but I feel that expansion is going to go big, and I'm willing to feel safe in it, that the universe really is going to support us, even when I can't see that far off into the future.
It brings up a lot of questions in me, though, because I hardly know any person who doesn't want to have their own business. Practically nobody wants to work for a corporation. And also there are a lot of studies that talk about the end of corporations and how increasing productivity is actually going to reduce the need for employees.
Yes.
So what are these people going to do, especially the new graduates? I just spoke today to two people who are in regular contact with young graduates, and they can't find work in 2 different countries. It's really hard for young people to find their place. It's always been like this, but I have the feeling that it's actually going to grow exponentially, this threat. So what are these people going to do? You know, do they jump straight onto their realization, or how do they come up to the answer?
Well, we got to look at,
or are we going to have a societal crisis?
we have to look at self-sustaining things that people really need. There's a need for things. So looking at this self-sustaining, like there's people who need to provide food. I always said, if you're meant to be a farmer, only farm. Don't worry about prophecy. Don't worry about the future. Get up every morning and look at the sun and go, wow, look at your animals and your farm, and just put your energy and love in that, because you're doing something to help the whole planet.
But how do you know that that's what you're supposed to do, that you're supposed to be a farmer?
There's an energy, there's a drive within you. I believe that as things change, we're going to have to find new ways to sustain stuff, to, like, even the climate, everything is changing, and we need the universe and the Earth Mother to help us to connect into that and how we're going to do things. Because if things are changing, then we got to develop new ways to do this and sustain, and we need to share this. And a lot of the young children are carrying stuff inside themselves, and they need to talk to people to bring it outside themselves and start looking at it in a way that whatever they're going to create and build and do, it's going to benefit everybody, but it also needs to be shared so people can understand how to work with it and carry it forwards.
Mm-hmm.
I would say asking questions, once again, it's like, how am I supposed to use my education to provide me an income? And then allow it to show you, show me in 3 ways that this education can provide me an income. And then be willing to receive the messages. It can come in dreams, it can come from a conversation, it can come from a commercial on the TV or on a YouTube video. And just check it off. Each time you get the verification, say, okay, I got the message. Okay, I got the message. And then look, put it all together and then move forward from there.
Mm-hmm. Move forward means take action.
Yes.
Yes, there's something we got to do. If the universe is responding, then there's something we got to go, okay, let's just go forward. Mm-hmm. I mean, sure, have a job over here that's still paying bills, but start developing, building, doing something here, put a little effort and time into it just to see how it's going to generate things.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this bear. It's like I just carved this.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
Beautiful.
just a piece of stone.
Oh, wow.
And
Very cool.
It was something that was in my mind, and I'm just like, okay, I'm going to put the energy into this, and hopefully somebody really likes it and decides to buy it and have it in their home. So
I'll put a link below to you so they can contact you if anybody feels drawn to this bear.
Yeah. So the energy and things, it's like whatever I see in here when I'm sitting with a rock, it's transforming that rock into something, and then believing somewhere somebody's going to go, wow, I really love that. And then they end up and they have it in their home. And I believe somehow it will bring a blessing to the person too, because it sustains and supports me and Cindy in our business, and it helps us with an income. So I always pray that somehow something good happens for the person too.
But then he had to do the work to carve it, right? He had to pull the bear out of the square block of rock. So there's the action that needs to take place. It's not going to carve itself. You got to do the work in order for that flow to keep flowing.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because by actually putting physical work, you increase the flow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, if you've got to work at a clothing store or as a waitress or something like that while you're building your business plan, then do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing wrong with it.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you very much. This was a wonderful talk. I hope it was useful to people.
Yes.
Again, a reminder that we have group clearings on Wednesdays, and you offer one-on-one coachings and clearings on foxstreamer.ca. I'll put the links below. And the bear is there waiting for the one.
Yes.
To own
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zarina.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us on Heal and Learn.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
All right.